Alrighty, it says that we're live. Welcome everyone to yet another Moonshire Monday. Very happy to be here. I'm seeing a lot of folks in chat already. I'm seeing Baron, you wrote yo, I think, but it changed it. It's so funny that it does that. Look, Baron, you wrote, it says you wrote yo, but then it changed it to shall. Why does it do that? That's so weird. I don't know why that is. It still does. I don't know why. That might be a Microsoft. Yeah, but it did it for. It didn't do it for Ashray. I don't know why. But yeah, Flopper. Look at that. Yo. Why is Ashray? You're immune to it. You're typing it the same as Flopper did. That's weird. I don't know why that is. That's pretty strange. Hello from Twitch. Hi. Thank you for testing that out. Today we're going to be working on pixel art, and I'm going to be showing some of the old sprites, or like the evolution of how I got here, because there is, I don't know, there's just been a lot of changes, and I'm still trying to figure out what style I want to go with. And so I'm going to show some of the sprites that I have in the game. These sprites here kind of acted as like a baseline for what some of the other characters were going to be based off of. So actually, I think it would make more sense for me to show the history. So I started in this old folder. And let's see, let's look at some of these. It's been a while. Guard. Okay. Yeah, I remember drawing this. In fact, I think in one of the Legend of Lua builds, the guards looked like this. And obviously they look kind of weak. They're not that good compared to these. These were made by Ellie Sprites, who is a pixel artist that I work with sometimes. It's actually been a while, but the reason it's been a while is because I've just been working on so much coding stuff and so much of my own pixel art. Honestly, I've been having fun doing pixel art. I do a lot of pixel art. Excuse me. That was my job. This is actually my job. Or I should say, like, I don't like to say that this is my job. I just do this all the time, and I pay my bills just through savings from when I was I was a full-time software developer, and yeah, I'm just kind of working on this game based off of, you know, that income. And I that's why I don't like to say, like, this isn't, I don't really treat this like a full-time job. I do work on this full-time, but it's like full-time game dev. I don't make money from this yet. Like, in the future, down the road, I'll have a game, I'll have stuff I can sell, I'll have the soundtrack I can sell, I can have merch, and then I have this channel, I have my courses. So those are really where I pay the bills from. That's my monetization strategy. And then in the meantime, getting towards the finish line, I am just like eating away at savings. That's the way it goes. And then once the game is out, I will focus more on monetization strategies. That's just the way it is. That card has different eye colors each row. Oh yeah, I guess it does. Yeah, this one's blue and this one's brown. Sounds risky to me. It is. Well, I mean, so in a way, so that's why it's kind of hard to explain this. Good luck, best wishes. Thank you. I like to be realistic when I talk about this, because people come in and ask me, do you do this full time? That was the question. Do you do this full time, or is this your job? And I wouldn't say it is, because a job implies that I'm being paid for it. And I get some payment from this. I get some ad revenue, and some people donate, and I appreciate that. That really does help out. But mainly I'm able to accomplish this because I had a really successful career in software development, and I spent a lot of time like living below my means. Like currently I live in a small 1-bedroom apartment that I pay for myself, and I just live really cheaply, and that's how I'm able to spend all my time working on games and working on art and music. This past week I worked on music. I didn't do any game development stuff besides music. And it was great. I loved it. I also did a lot of streaming last week. Streaming, again, I don't really consider that a job. So that's why, like, I don't want to mislead people when people ask me, what's your job? I don't want to tell people, like, this is a full-time job, that this is realistic, that you can, like, earn an income from this, because maybe some people are, but it's more realistic to, like, be employed somewhere and then use that income to supplement paying for something else, you know? Sorry if I got a little too personal or weird, but let's go through some more of these sprites. So you're technically unemployed? Technically, yes. Technically, yes. Let's go to some of these. So this is an old blacksmith. Oh, this guy's cool. He's like a lumberjack. A game dev makes good amount of money? No. I'm sorry, Asher, that's not true. You've been misled. They have the potential to, but like I don't know what the job prospects are for game developers. It's generally not very good. It's a tough market. I remember that blacksmith in the old Legend of Lu. Oh yeah, you know what? It was in the old Legend of Lu. I do remember that. I heard Hollow Knight made millions. Hey, you were right about that. Yeah, if you cherry pick the examples of successful games, you're right. You can make a lot of money. But for every Hollow Knight, I'm not kidding, there's probably 1,000 games that nobody's heard of, unfortunately. We can do some stats on this. Would you say you need luck too? I don't know. I mean, in my case, I don't feel lucky. I feel like I've just been doing this for so long that I've gotten better over time. And you know, I guess it is part luck, but also part skill. You gain these skills over time. We're gonna ask Gemini. We're gonna see. We're gonna do some research, and we're going to see on Steam how many indie games release. How many indie games release? I will say get released. And how many of those would be considered successful? Enough income to pay for one person's living expenses. Let's see. We're gonna find out. When looking at sheer volume of games hitting Steam, the market is incredibly massive, but the revenue distribution follows a strict power law. If we define success as learning enough to sustain a single developer's modest living expenses, let's benchmark this around 60 to 70k. That's actually more than what I spend. I spend under 40k per year, which after Steam's 30% cut, royalties, blah, 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 the data paints a stark picture. Here's how the numbers break down based on recent Steam market data from SteamDB. How many indie games are released? Annual releases, 18,000 to 20,000 games. Jam? Oh yeah, this is a jam. What is the success rate for a solo income? Let's see. If you look at the broad pool of every single indie game that hits the storefront, the percentage that reaches a baseline solo living wage is small. According to data tracking revenue distributions across thousands of indie releases, the median revenue for an indie game on Steam is around 1,000 total. Top 10% barrier. Only about 10% of indie games exceed 68,000 gross revenue. I'm surprised that it's that high. 10% of games. He's back to work. I am back to work. Last week I was streaming like all week. I did nothing but play Adventures of Elliot, and then I played Deltarune Chapter 5. It was great. I feel like it depends more on marketing. It depends on the quality of the game. Because if you have a subpar game, all the marketing in the world doesn't really help that much. 10% is a lot. I'm surprised that 10% of releases are able to make that much money. Because that's good. Your game is so good. Thank you. I appreciate that. I do think that if I put my game on Steam and sold it for money, I think that I could hit this. Because I spent a lot of time, like Chicken says, marketing is a factor, and you're right. My game will have an advantage because I've been marketing it for a long time. I've been marketing it on this channel and on TikTok and other stuff for quite a while, so it makes sense that my game has that benefit. And then there's also the luck factor. There's how much does the Steam algorithm surface your game. That can be a factor. But you know what? I went into this research phase expecting this number to be even more bleak than what it shows. If it's 10% makes $68,000, that's pretty dang good. But also on the flip side, that does mean that 90% of games don't make a livable wage. That is that's pretty rough. Well, and this is the other thing is I don't really want to... I don't treat game development as a money-making device at all. I treat game development as just a creative outlet. I really do see it that way. The business side, the money side of game development, I don't like. So when people come into chat and they're saying things like, I want to be a full-time game development, or I want it to be my job, that to me is not something I personally would ever want. because that's how you learn to hate game development, because you are employed for a company that's making games, not that you want to work on, but that the market wants to work on. And you're mistreated and you get laid off, and even really talented people can't get jobs because the supply and demand, just reality is so rough. Yeah, I also see game development as a creative way to express and learn programming. Me too. I see game development kind of like art. If you were a painter, I don't think I would encourage you to study, like, I wouldn't encourage you to become a painter full-time. I would say study and work on some sort of money-focused career, and then do painting. Meanwhile, like, I've been doing game development my whole life. Even when I was a software developer, I was doing game development at home, and I was still posting on this channel the whole time. I was getting better, and I never at any point was like, okay, I need to make this this needs to be a money-making thing. If I was a painter, I wouldn't say you should make painting your full-time job. I should say you should paint all the time, but you should pay your bills with a job. And then eventually, if you paint your whole life, you're going to grow up into like a nice adult that's been painting for so long that they're so talented. You're such a talented painter that people will pay you for your artwork. That's who gets paid this 10% barrier. It's not about luck. It's not like it's not like a 10% luck of the draw. It's the top 10%, the top 10% skilled people. It's the people who make the 10% best games. It's not like you put 10 names in a hat and you drew out one name and that's the only factor here that goes into this 10% barrier. It really is a quality thing, because have you browsed Steam before and you've seen a game listed for like $20 and you watch the trailer and you're like, this is not worth $20. Mina the Hollower is worth $20 and the Silk Song is worth $20. I don't know if this is worth $20. Masahiro Sakurai also said, doesn't matter how good something is, an unknown game might as well not exist. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. Man, I'm surprised that he said that. That implies that art for your own personal sake is useless, and I don't agree with that at all. Wow. What if that's actually a quote from him? That's sad. Because I don't agree with that at all. I think it's very important for you to produce and create games on your own that nobody sees. I have made many, many games on my own that nobody has seen. Butterfly, hi, welcome in. And those games has given me the skill to successfully produce and make things that I'm proud to share. He's talking about marketing, I think. Okay. I think that quote was taken out of context, and because that did not resonate with me. I would have paid $40 for Silk Song easily. Me too. I would have paid more. I think that they Team Cherry really did everyone a favor with that pricing. I think they did consumers a favor with that pricing, and I'm happy about that. I am pro-consumer. Developers and publishers would argue that they did the industry a disservice by charging so little money for the game. And I think that's a bad sentiment. I think that it's great that they made the price as approachable as possible while still being able to make money. And also, when you make a game cheap, it does allow you to sell more copies, which offsets the price decrease. Machine only knows one purpose. Machine only knows purpose. I know what you mean. Anyway, the 1,000 review milestone. Oh, okay. Real Steam traction. 1,000 reviews. Only about 3% of games get 1,000 reviews. I mean, that's a lot of reviews to get. I doubt I doubt Adventures of Elliot has 1,000 reviews. We can check. And also, this is just Steam. A lot of games release on multiple platforms, although that's not really the best metric because a successful game will still be successful on Steam. Let me look up Adventures of Elliot. So this is a game that I played on stream. What the? Come on. Oh my gosh! I can't use computers. It does have 1,000. It just hit 1,000. So this game has officially reached, and also it went up to mostly positive. Yay! Good for Adventures of Elliot. I remember when I showed this game last week, it was mixed. because I played this game last week on stream a little bit, and it was mixed. But it has gone up to mostly positive, and I'm very happy about that because I played through the whole thing, and I loved it. I loved it a lot. I thought it was great. It did have some flaws, but I still liked it a lot. There's some annoying aspects, and I think that's what a lot of people are hung up on. And I agree that those aspects are negative. I'm totally with you there. But man, the game is so cool. It is so fun. I got so into it, and I enjoyed the story. What do you like better, Hollow Knight or Undertale? Ooh, I like them both. I think that Undertale is a little bit more inspiring for me, and also I like Undertale's music more. I think Hollow Knight's music is very immersive and appropriate, but I don't think it's very, like, I don't have very much Hollow Knight music on my playlist. I have mostly Undertale and Deltarune music. The people that played the first hour and didn't like it went to review immediately. The people that fully played it are probably now reviewing. That makes sense. That probably makes sense. I agree with that sentiment too, because I think the beginning of the game is weaker than the second half. Even the second 2/3 I think are better. But there's some negative aspects of the game for sure. So if someone doesn't like it, I would get that. Do I know Phantom Rose? I don't. I don't know that. Have I ever played Ori? Yes, I have. I think I have that. I have Ori and the Blighted Forest, and I played that. Yeah, I played through this. And then I played through Ori and the Will of the Wisp. I played it at my friend CG Kraz's house, who's in chat. Thank you, CG Kraz, for letting me play Ori and the Will of the Wisps. I love that game. Anyway, back to pixel art. I keep like getting distracted. Have I heard of Paper Lily? I've not heard of that. No. There was another sprite in here that I wanted to see. There's this one. This one's called Blacksmith Old. Oh, look at this guy! Whoa! I like this. He's like shirtless. He's sick. I kind of like the style of this one. How much bigger is this? I want to put this one side by side with the larger one. I feel like a lot of JRPGs tend to have a weaker beginning before opening up more in the second half. Yeah, I think that's probably true. Let's see how big this guy is. Wow, he had a little growth spurt. Good for him. He looks like the hobo from the Flash game. I don't think I know what you're talking about. Wow, what an evolution. Well, actually, the evolution doesn't stop there. He changed much more. He turned into this guy. So he definitely changed quite a bit. Wow, the characters have gotten bigger. Like, they keep getting bigger and bigger. You're reincarnating. I don't know if this is the same guy. I like both designs, though. Both characters are cool. And actually, I think Ellie made another version that I haven't really been... Yeah, she did. Look at this. Oh, that's awesome. This one looks great. Also, the song is like a bop. This is awesome. This is cool. Okay, this is nice. A nice little progression. I think I remember Jam. Oh yeah, this is very good. Definitely evolution. I kind of like the old small chibi human. I like that little guy. You could totally use him. I totally could. I love this. Let me find the oh, this is the old file. Let me find my new one. I'm digging this music. It's so good. I'm gonna go to hero. I need to make this sprite a little bit easier to get on hand. Dude, honestly, this small guy kind of fits the theme of the game better. It looks like this guy could be underneath of Lua's hood. Do you go by traditional character sizes, 32 by 16, or you just draw one out like it? Everything is kind of however I feel. Because, like, the player, I use frame sizes that are 24 by 24. It's arbitrary, by the way. Is Lua meant to be the same species? I don't know. I haven't really decided. Lua is just kind of like, it's definitely meant to be a self-insert, so you're just supposed to project your own character underneath the hood, but that's kind of why I like it. So I want to move these over, and I want to put Lua in between the tall ones, because I want to see how he looks. I feel like he's just too small compared to the humans. And actually, I remember when we were designing these, I specifically asked the artist that I was working with to help with making them bigger, because I thought it was cute. It reminds me of actually I know what it was. It reminded me of in Hollow Knight, specifically Hollow Knight, when you talk to a what the heck happened? Where did he go? In Hollow Knight, when you talk to someone, oh my gosh. There it is. I was trying to flip them around. I thought it was funny how the knight in Hollow Knight was so short and little, and then you like walk up to people, and then you talk to them, and then the knight like looks up at them because they're so tall. It's really funny. Here, I'm gonna see if I can find a picture of it. A Hollow Knight dialogue. I don't know how I'll possibly find a picture of a Hollow Knight dialogue. I don't even know what that would be. I guess this kind of shows it. That's not the best example. Normally he looks up a little bit more, but I think that when the NPCs are bigger, just something about that it feels right. But it also feels right having Lua be the size of this guy, because this guy's really cute too. If I drew more human characters look like that, I don't know how that would look. The artwork in the game is very good. Thank you. I had some help with it. What other sprites do I got? So I should make a big canvas of humans, and we're gonna talk about like the pros and cons of the different styles, and try to find a decent one, because there's actually more. There's more to show. We're gonna make a new canvas. I think Lua being small makes you feel more out of your depth. That's what I like that. Yeah, that's what I mean. Is that something about that? How do you make such a smooth walking animation for Lua? I can show that. I can show that transition too, because I have that. Edit. Where is this? Oh, I think I have it here. Here. Okay, so I drew a lot of these sprites. I drew most of these frames and all these walking animations, but when I was designing this walking animation, I was having trouble like getting the frame, like getting the positions right. I really struggled to get the full walk cycle in place. So I asked my friend Tris Pixels for help, and he made this version, which, just word of warning, this isn't the final. This is just a version that he was trying out. So this is the walk cycle that he made. And I thought that this was a pretty decent like start, and I adapted it into this version, which I guess I should go ahead and start that up. That looks nice. It was a good start, but I smoothed it out even more, because the problem with this one is it kind of like changes his hood shape. The hood shape kind of gets a little bit messed up, and in the full version, look, the face stays consistent. The face is always consistent. And in this one, I didn't like how, like even here, you can kind of see like the face moved around, and the hood kind of felt a little bit off at times. So I spent a lot of time cleaning it up to get to this final version. And let's see if I can show that real quick. Here's what that looked like. Oh, and here's our friend. There he is. Oh, I don't have a jump. Oh no, I'm so used to jumping that when I play this old version, it feels weird. But I love the NPCs in this game. Let's take another look at them. How many frames is the walk? It is 6 frames. Okay, so let's put in the different styles. I'm gonna put in this guy. We're gonna put like the small chibi characters here at the top. And that's going that includes the player. The player is kind of like a chibi character. Have I played Mina the Hollower? I have. I have played Mina the Hollower. Any inspo for the jumping mechanics? I think that Moonshire's jumping mechanics are a little bit better than Mina's. Here, I'll show them real quick. Because in my most recent YouTube video, I did show off a lot of the jumping. And the thing about Mina the Hollower is that it exists in a very, very flat space. And I spent a lot of time working on... Oh my gosh, the controls change. I need to change to keyboard. There we go. There we go. Oh my gosh, I'm so into the Deltarune soundtrack. I played Deltarune this weekend, Chapter 5, and it was awesome. I loved it. So, Mina the Hollower uses like really simple... Well, I shouldn't say simple. It's still really complex. It has elevation. There are places in Mina the Hollower where you can fall off of ledges like that. But it's pretty limited. It's pretty limited. My game has a really full, fleshed out, like 3D engine almost, making everything work. And yeah, my game has like all the jumps in 2 as well. But I loved Mina the Hollower. I did get a lot of ideas from it. After seeing all this hard work, Games Fire, thank you. Thank you. How do you rank the existing Deltarune chapters in terms of how much you enjoyed them? I enjoyed Chapter 2 the most. Then I enjoyed Chapter 5 second most. I really liked it a lot. Then 1, then 3, then 4. But I like them all. I think they're all good. 4 is definitely the weakest, for sure, without a doubt. Let's see. Yeah, so that was the jumping. I wonder if did I make any other chibi characters? I don't know if I did. I doubt it. Shelf. Oh, these are like assets that I purchased. I only have one thing in here. What is this? Ooh, this guy's cool. Yeah, this is a purchased asset from itch.io. I don't know who made this. Rakuchi Buster. I listened to that this morning. It's so good. Especially like the ending with the solos. They just sound awesome. I'm inspired by Toby Fox's music. It's so good. And also, Chapter 5 has the Insane in the Rain jazz cover stuff in it. It's I love Chapter 5. I think he nailed it. Your approach to 3D and top-down 2D reminds me of Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. Yeah, it definitely does. In fact, in an earlier stream, I think I used that game as an example as one of the best games that's done it. If you guys can help me think of other games that have done like good 3D, 2D worlds, that would be helpful. But like Minish Cap has it kind of, but it's not very good. Kitty Mimi Magic. I actually haven't done enough of the side content. I didn't actually get her, so I didn't hear that song, but I need to. You can stack your terrain more or less as high as you want. Yeah, you can. So in this example, it goes in by half tiles. So this is half a tile height. This is a full tile height. 1.5, 2, 2.5, and it can keep going up infinitely. It can keep going up infinitely. It goes up as high as you want it to. And the point of this map that I'm in here right now is just meant to kind of like test out some of the weird scenarios. Whoops. I didn't mean to drop that. I didn't know I could drop that. I'm trying to think. I think that there is a bug somewhere over here. Yeah, right here. Look at this. Okay, so I can jump up here, but when I walk into... Oh, no, it's fixed. It's fine. The shadows are messed up, though. Something's wrong with the shadows. How do I... Whoop. Oh, no. Something's wrong. Whoops. Okay, I screwed that up. Let's just continue on with the pixel art. I'm trying to see if I've made any other, like, small character sprites. They're, like, really small. I think that's all of them. Guard. I think this is based off of, Oh, this is like a full... Guys, we can see my process to making the guard. So I started with this. I recognize this comes from Itch. So someone on Itch made this sprite, And then I made all these edits to it. I changed it to this. Oh, there he is! Oh, look at this guy! I love this! And I'm making him taller. Oh, and there's Lua. Okay, that's how I made the sprite, apparently. That's cool. Sage.mp3, or not MP3, PNG. Sage is just another big character. We'll look at her in a second. I think I kind of like this version. Look at this. And then when he talks, he can go, hello, hello, hi, I have a quest for you. Oh, he raises his shield. Ah. Okay, we're gonna copy him over. Uh-oh, what happened? Oh, he's many layers. He is made of many layers. Let's merge it down. Yeah, I'm not gonna save this so I can merge it down. It's pretty cute. It is kind of cute. I don't even remember making this. I think it's a little too cute. What am I doing? We're playing around with pixel art. Hi, Mr. Streamer. Hi, Remoose. Thank you for stopping in. Appreciate that. And thank you for coming into all my gaming streams. I appreciate that. Last week, I played a lot of games on Twitch. I played Adventures of Elliot, the whole thing, on Twitch, and then I played Deltarune Chapter 5. So I need to take a little bit of break from streaming games. But honestly, I could play more. I had so much fun doing that. Do you think a mix of Tall and Chibi in PC could work? I think it depends. I thought it's new characters. Well, we're going to be getting to that. I'm trying to establish a style. Because these are old sprites. And I'm trying to see how they compare to the new ones. This one's actually pretty good. Oh, I love this song. Man, we've been getting some bangers today. Oh, this girl is so good. I love this character. Did I draw this? Man, I wish that my memory was better. The shading on the hair doesn't look like something I would do. But the face and the body does. Maybe I got the head shape. Maybe I got the hair and the colors from somewhere else. Isn't it one of Ellie's? It might be one of Ellie's, but it does kind of look like something I drew. It looks like a hybrid. Maybe like she drew the baseline and then I just like adjusted it. Because it does look like hers, especially the shading is what I'm talking about. I think that she must have done the hair. It's a really cool and short programming game on itch and has a nice art style. Nice. I can try that out sometime. But when I see this character, I really like it. Oh, I remember this character. I can actually pull it up. It's on the YouTube channel. Here, I'm gonna pull it up real quick. Okay, let's see if we can find her. Because I know that she's here. There she is! I found her! I don't think Ellie made this. I don't think she did. I think that this is before Ellie started helping me. But I like that sprite a lot. I think it's good. Let me see, like, which of these videos would she have been? Because Tris Pixels made this eyeball guy. I guess she was probably helping around this time. I can't quite remember. But I love her work. Her work was very influential to the art style of this game. Whenever I worked with artists, they would make really, really good pixel art, and then I would have to make it a little bit worse. Because they would make art that was like too detailed or too good looking, and I'd be like, I'm sorry, I have to make your art worse. Almost nostalgic? I agree. I love seeing it. We're gonna jam on Twitch. Okay. How about the Tea Girl? Is she in the Steam demo? I can't remember. How many people helped me? Really, like, hardly anyone, almost none. So, Tris Pixels helped with some sprites, especially, like, the main menu sprites. And Ellie helped with some of these characters and some of the environment stuff. And someone did help with some of the tiles. But I still did most of the work. I don't get very many people. She was there at some... Yeah. She was... I think that she was in... Because she was the girl that you would have tea with her, and then she would send you back in time. And you would get, like, a flashback of how to shatter weapons. That's just Frisk Undertale? I guess it is kind of like Frisk Undertale. Here, let's turn her into Frisk Undertale. Okay, Frisk Undertale has brown hair, and also Frisk Undertale has yellow skin. She does have pretty yellow skin, but let's make it yellower. And then Frisk has their eyes closed. Like that, like that. Okay, it's starting to look like it. Frisk has brown hair. Okay, I had to... Let's get rid of these cheeks. I don't think Frisk has cheek. Yeah, that looks more like Frisk. It looks kind of like... It kind of looks kind of like it. I need to pull up a reference. I can't remember what Frisk color's shirt is. It's striped. Frisk Undertale. Okay, it's blue and purple. The color's already kind of right. That's why it looks like him. Okay, let's get the purple going. It's like neon magenta are the stripes. This is Frisk in like a dress. Well, here I can fix that. I can turn it into a shirt. It still looks too much like a dress. It looks so dumb. Frisk doesn't have, like, visible pants. They're just, like... And also, Frisk doesn't have, like, a sleeveless shirt. It's like this. Something about this music is, like, haunting. Okay, there he is! Do you think I did it? How did I do? I think it's pretty close. Who's gonna win the World Cup? Hey, I'd root for Canada. That sounds great. I have no idea who's gonna win. Better than Factory? I don't think I know what that means. That's pretty close. A little bit. The Flower Man, a little bit. Yeah, I guess it kind of does look like that too, the hairstyle. Give me some tips. I want to get into Left 4 Dead, but I don't know how to start. Always start with something really, really simple. The easiest of easy games. Goodbye, Frisk. I was just talking to someone on Discord yesterday who I think had good ideas, but they were just being too ambitious, and they were just kind of struggling. And I know people are sick of hearing that advice, but that really is the truth. Is that people always start like if your first game is a platformer, that's too complicated. It's too complicated. If you have physics in your game, don't make a game with physics as your first game. Do something very easy, like just like a visual novel, or make Pong, or make childcade.com/game/comment, which I'll go ahead and show again. I always show it. They make this game. I think that this is an awesome first game. Yeah, my getting started playlist is a very good place to get started. I rewatched those videos actually kind of recently. Oh, I reset my score. I show this game every stream. I do show it every single stream because I do get that question every stream. I've seen it on previous stream. Yeah, that makes sense. I think I do show it every single stream, and I always try to go for a new high score. Yeah, they ask the same questions every stream. We can brainstorm, like, what could we do to help with that? Because it makes sense. People ask about how do I get started, or they get over. And there is like sometimes you just lose, and there's nothing you can do about it. The Steam Summer Sale. I love this artwork, by the way. Whoever made this chicken and dragon, I like that a lot. They did a good job with that. Me and my friend played Dispatch, and we liked it. That was good. Don't play it on Switch though. It's censored on Switch. I wouldn't recommend it. But we played it on PS5 and it was good. You can buy Witcher 3 for $4. I already have. I have Witcher 3 back there. I don't want to play. I haven't played it. I just don't have any interest in CD Projekt Red games. $1.50. See, like, selling a game for $1.50. That's so cheap. People are just gonna buy it for the sake of it. Do I have Rain World? No, I played this on PS5 as well. Isn't that frustrating when you have multiple different libraries of games where I don't know what I have on what? The problem is that even if you put infos in the title or on stream, some people lack the ability to read. I mean, you are right. I remember we did used to have some small things that could help with, like getting people that information. But yeah, it's no big deal. It gives me something to talk about. It fills the air. Yeah, you can't be posting links in the chat. Sorry. Let me try it. Appreciate you trying to share stuff, but can't do that right now. Not in the chat. We can't allow links. It's just a security thing. Uh-oh, they're gone. Or did it show up? Some spammer showed up and I got them removed. It was a Twitch one. One thing between Twitch and YouTube is that, oh shoot, there's still another person. Where'd they go? What happened? Like I saw the message like jump around. That was weird. I'm sorry about that. I got Sea of Stars. I actually haven't played it yet. I haven't played Sea of Stars yet. I think that actually should be a top priority game for me to play, because I think that I would love it. I think that I would love Sea of Stars. I'm gonna search the store. Whenever I click on the search the store bar, it always pulls up like these psychotic games that have nothing to do with me. So I'm afraid to even click it. Search the store. I think these are fine. This last one looks a little sus, but we're just gonna go on to Sea of Stars. Sunset Edition. Oh. Should I play this on stream? That'd probably be a good one. Mecha Chameleon. I watched Oni Place play that yesterday and it was amazing. I saw that game come on some streams. I see. Okay. Yeah, this game looks so amazing just because the pixel art looks so good. It's not showing it. Yeah, there it is. The environments look amazing. I don't remember all of these animated cutscenes. Whoa. Yeah, I don't even want to spoil myself. I think I'm just gonna play it. Should I buy it on Steam or should I play it on PS5? Because I do have it on PS5. Sea of Stars is just so good. I think that I would love it. I'll check it out later. Sea of Stars is a JRPG. It's It's not a remake. It's just a modern JRPG indie game. It probably came out like 4 years ago, maybe. I mean, 3 years ago, and it's just really good. I've heard only amazing things about it, and it's pixel art. I think that the pixel art looks amazing. I love good pixel art. And speaking of pixel art, let's try and actually focus once in a while. This one's called Shopkeeper 2. I gave her a little bun. I don't like this one as much. She's bigger, though. With inspirations from Mario and Luigi. Oh, does it have like time-based combat stuff? It's like Expedition 33. This is like mom, and this is like little daughter. Or maybe she just grew up. Not to derail again, but how do you organize your art folders? It kind of goes through phases because so here in this folder that we're looking at, this is actually the old organization. This is how my folders were organized before in the old engine, and it's kind of disorganized because we have effects and effects 2. We have mobs versus enemies versus NPC versus player. All those things are the same. So I reorganized them all into a new structure. It's still a lot of folders, but it's a lot cleaner. The one discrepancy is hero. Hero should go into mobs because hero is just a mob type. Yeah, this kind of needs to be cleaned up a little bit more. But basically I organize it by, you know, what it's used for in general. Okay. So this girl, this is more into the realm of the taller. This is when they started getting taller. Because I can put in the next... Where was he? Yeah, this guy. Do I use VS Code? I do. I have it running right now. I love it. I think it's great. I'm suffering to resize the GUI to match all resolutions. What should I do? You are suffering from the same tragic problem that all developers suffer from. It is hard to work on UI. It is difficult. It is very hard. My only advice is to keep it as simple as possible. Again, all of my UI is custom built. It's custom made inside the engine. Code, UI. So all of my UI code is just custom written specifically for the... Look, set scale. Maybe this will help. But essentially, the game, whenever it gets resized, whenever you resize the window, it triggers everything in the game to recalculate its scale. So whenever the game window resizes, which I think that gets triggered from main. It does. It does. Love resize. So whenever love resize happens, it calls view start. View is like the camera. View start. And then like the set scale, and then the set scale calls some other scale functions, UI set scale. So that's how it all happens, is that it's like this chain of events. You change the window size, it changes the camera scale, which in turn changes like the asset scale and changes the UI scale. So the UI has its own scale factor, and it just has to adapt for whatever that number happens to be. And the result, I'll go ahead and show it because the UI in this game is very good. I made a good UI. Well, not this page. This is a better example like this. How when I scale it down, because I think this is what you're talking about, how when I make the window smaller, the buttons need to adapt as well. And I can make this as small as possible, and it should still work the same. It does. That's pretty cool. How did I learn pixel art? I learned pixel art just from making a lot of sprites of my own. I've made fan games and small Game Maker games my whole life. Game Maker has a built-in like pixel art editor. So the answer is just I did it my whole life. I do have a camera system, but I can't just draw the GUI in the camera, of course. You're right. The game graphics are all resized, but the GUI isn't constant. You're right. Exactly. So that's a good call out. And that is why the UI has its own scale factor. It has its own... let's see, where would that be? Self.scale. So UI.scale is different from view.scale. See, this is the... And it's different from the base scale because there are times in the game where it zooms in the camera. And you don't want that zoom in of the camera to change the scaling of everything. So that's why you have the base scale. We have the actual scale for when we're like zooming in. Scale factor is used for calculations. Field of view is also used for that scale factor calculations, where if you set the field of view to be higher, it scales out and makes the camera farther away. And yeah, they are distinct. This view file that we're looking at, view.scale, is different from the UI scale. It's distinct because the UI gets rendered outside of the camera. I wonder if I can show that UI:draw, and let's see where this gets called. It happens in draw. Yeah, it happens outside of the... Oh wait, no, it doesn't. It just happens after everything else. The UI just happens after... Where does the... Oh yeah, view attach. Sorry, this is not organized well. Detach. I think that I need something better here. I'm gonna put like big @ so people know that this is where the camera is. Okay. So whenever we have view attach and view detach, anything between that is what's drawn within the camera. So we are drawing the background, we're drawing the level, we're drawing the render display. I don't know what that actually means. Oh, render is just rendering everything. I think it takes the level draw, and then render is the Y-sort algorithm that it batches and then renders. Level draw, tier particles. Tier particles. That's a weird way of phrasing it, but that's just like the particles have some appear in the background, some appear in the foreground. So it's just a order of operations thing, how I'm drawing all of the camera stuff first, and then after all that camera stuff gets drawn, the camera is detached, and then we're drawing like lips is the dialogue boxes, the vignette happens outside of the camera, and then the UI also happens outside the camera. What's the debug raycast? Let's go ahead and show that. In order to show that, I need to get my debug menu working again. Debug. Yeah, in. I don't think I can show it right now. I'll try. So if I open the debug menu, that's not good. There's a debug dumb... Sorry, give me 1 second. I'm having trouble with the debug menu. It's jumping to the wrong one. This isn't the right... This is the old debug menu. That's what's happening. It's opening the wrong one. Why do I have that? It's not opening this one. It's not opening this one. That's what's happening. Debug.screen. Okay. Let me think of one more thing. Pause. Or, No, start. Menu. Sorry, I'm focused. I'm like deep in thought. I'm trying to figure out why it's loading the wrong debug menu. I'm trying to load this one, but it's loading it the old one. UI colon toggle. It's just linking to the wrong one is the problem. This is the wrong route. Oh, I'm frustrated. I'm sorry that I'm spending time on this. This shouldn't be the wrong one, though. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't think I'm going to be able to figure it out. Because I showed it on stream before how there's a debug menu I have where I can like spawn enemies. It's not here though. I must have gotten rid of it somewhere. Oh, come on. I'm trying to figure out and trying to think of what this would be. Because it does still work, it's just this is the old path for it. There's more debug stuff I can test with. This is wrong. Maybe I removed it or something. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. What was I gonna do? I was gonna show the raycasts, but I can't do that without enemies. Do I have a spawn for enemies? Man, the game is kind of in a... It's kind of in a rough state right now. I'm having trouble showing off some of these debug things. I've been like reworking everything. I don't think it's gonna work because it needs a directive. I don't think it's gonna work. It's gonna give us a slime, but it's not gonna do anything. The whole point is that I was gonna turn on Okay, we're moving on. I'm just getting so flustered by this. I'm sorry about that. Pato Lizzo, thank you for stopping in. I'm French and I've just started programming and my very first game for fun. Awesome. Programming is really rewarding. And thanks to you, I'm making faster progress than expected. That's awesome. I'm happy for you, Mohammed. Thank you for stopping in. I've coded some games in C with Raylib and it's pretty nice, but it depends heavily on the developer's preferences. I always say that it just depends on what you want to work on the most. People ask if they should use Love2D and Lua, if it's right for them, but the truth is I don't know. You just gotta try it out and see what you think. Do you use any virtual resolution or anchors, or you just use a scale factor? It mainly is just a scale factor. Even if there was some sort of virtual thing, it is still based off of some scale factor that I'm passing to it. The only other thing worth mentioning is in game start, in load. I do set the default filter. So this is so that the scaling doesn't blur any of the pixels. But I don't think that's what you're asking about. I think that's different. Let's keep putting together more of these characters. So where does this guard is after they've gotten tall. Another Xenoblade song. Oh yeah, this guy's short. This guy's short. He's not one of the newer ones. When you update the game, will you consider making a icon for the executable? Right now, it's the icon for Lua or for Love2D. That's weird because it's always tricky getting that icon to get updated. it does have the Moonshire icon. In fact, I can show that. If I go to my C builds, Moonshire, we'll go to the latest build. It does have, look at that. It does have the Lua icon, or the Lua icon, the icon of the character for the EXE. But I don't think all scenarios or all operating systems show it properly. It has the Lua icon. Will you consider making a new icon for the game? Oh, yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah, I just don't have anything that's more iconic. It's Lua icon everywhere. So it's funny you say that because it is supposed to be, but I swear that I think I have actually seen it where when I had it in some browser, it was showing the old one, or I can't really explain it. Still named Love 11.5 in Task Manager. Oh, is that what it is? Really? That's so funny. You draw with a mouse and a sprite? Yeah. Do people use something else? I guess you could use a tablet. I don't really think that would make it any easier for me, at least. I mean, using a tablet makes sense for high res or anything that's like really detailed with illustrations where you're working with really big artwork, but this is small. And tablet is useless. I don't think that you would need a tablet. Yeah, I think that it would not be worth it. I have one. I have one over there, but I don't use it. When you package Love2D game, you usually link the framework with your .love game file. Yeah, but there are ways that you can get around that. It's worth pointing that out because I do want to fix that. There are ways to make it so that it will just say Moonshire everywhere. And that's what I wanted to do. I don't want it to say love anywhere. That's just confusing for people. I'll show love in the credits, and I'll say that it's a Love2D game, but I don't want people to think that it's just like, I don't want it to show the love icon anywhere or to say love 11.5. I bet there's a way for me to fix that. Or get a pen thingy? I don't think, even a pen thingy, I don't think that would be worth it. Run square also says 11.5. Yeah, I think that's just like a common little quirk. I guess we can try and see if there's a way to fix that. My Love2D game is packaged as an EXE and runs as Moonshire, but in the task manager it still says Love 11.5 rather than the EXE program name. Why? How can this be fixed? When will you launch the game? It'll still be a while. A classic quirk when packaging Love2D for Windows. The reason was your fusing only appends your game data to the executable binary. Oh, you would need to rebuild it using, I think you would need to rebuild Love2D with your game data embedded, and then just like rebuild the executable. Modify the executable's resources after you fuse the game using Resource Hacker. Is that what I use? Resource Hacker? Yeah, I use Resource Hacker. So I use this program to update the icon. Whenever I build, I use this program called Resource Hacker to literally change the icon. But it looks like there's more that you need to change. Yeah, I see. I never did any of this. All I would do is change the icon. Love2D is open source, so you can do it. You can. So what I was suggesting is that I think a more reliable way that I'm probably going to end up doing is making it so that I can build Love2D on my computer or through GitHub Cloud maybe. And then it can build Love with my game files embedded into it so that there's no fusion, because that's how you build for Windows right now, is you fuse the .love with the love exe and they're fused together as an executable, but that fusion is loose. It's like taping things together like it says, and you can rebuild it from the ground up so it's like actually embedded. resources for learning pixel art. I'm getting to the point in my first project where I can start working on art and sound. Good, that's awesome. My advice is like, there's not really any resources. The only resource is practice, doing it all the time. My advice for people is always to like make a sprite every single day, and your first sprites will probably be kind of crappy because you're new to it, but over time they get better. There's not really any like advice or tricks that I can tell you that will make you a better pixel artist. The only thing that will is if you do pixel art every day, which I do, and that's how I've gotten better. The automated way using RC edit. I think all these options are fine. I think that these are a little bit short-sighted though. Using resource hacker is kind of annoying because you have to manually change an exe's data. That's really tedious because that means every time you build the game you have to go through that process again. With ChalaChat, everything's through GitHub. I'm gonna show that real quick because it's really awesome. GitHub.com ChalaChat. So this is my chat overlay that you see above me. It's all open source, and all of the builds happen on GitHub. So you can probably see them if I scroll down somewhere. Or where does it show the releases? Here they are. So this release, ChalaChat v0.9.8, it was built through GitHub. GitHub has their own like computers running in the background that's able to pick up my code, build it, and then spit out these release files. And now these are the exact files that I upload to Steam. That's how everything gets deployed. It's really hard. So it'd be cool if I can incorporate that icon process into this as well. Naughty, hi, welcome in. It's going good. Just working on some pixel art and talking about all the distribution processes that go into game development. I really thought it was a Shovel Knight track at first. It sounds like it, doesn't it? It totally does. In fact, I think there's a graveyard level in Shovel Knight that this totally could work for. Bayron, yeah, thank you for chatting on Twitch as well. I appreciate that. Have you thought about achievements for Moonshire? Yeah, I have, and it's funny you say that because there is an achievement for Moonshire. If you go to Moonshire, there is one achievement, but it is not, you can't get it anymore. It's not achievable because it's not possible to attach gemstones to jewelry anymore. Jake Kaufman's style is so recognizable. It's awesome. And it totally sounds like he's using the like actual Fami tracker or some kind of tracking software where it works with the original hardware. It sounds amazing. Is it allowed to ask Moonshire's amount of wish lists? You can ask, but I haven't really been revealing that. The truth is, I don't know. I don't know how many wish lists it has. Is that public? Is wish list count public? I actually don't know if it is. It is? Oh, well then how many do I have? Someone can check for me, or I guess I can check. Steam wishlist DB. Most wishlisted. Close filters. So can I search for Moonshire? I've never seen this before. Is it showing up on stream? Okay, it is a little bit off. Charts? I'm not seeing it. 1598 in top wish list. That doesn't really mean anything though. It just says that's my placement. Which is more German, like if I'm not wrong. It's funny you say that. The origin of the name Schab, I think, does come from Germany because I think it's a German word. My family lineage is more Irish though, because my aunt did like one of those 23andMe's, and it traced more back into Irish heritage more than German, a lot more than German, surprisingly. But yeah, my whole life I thought it was more of a German ancestry thing. But I think that my family just kind of maybe moved around a little bit. Wishlist is not public as far as I can tell. That's what I was saying. I didn't think that it was. It tells me that my game is ranked 1600 in top wishlist, but like that doesn't really mean anything. 411,000 people are wishlisting Deadlock. I've never even heard of Light No Fire. I never heard of a lot of these. They're making Arc too? I didn't know about that. You learn German, so that's why I thought. Nice, that's cool. I've always wanted to learn German because, one, I think it's an interesting and cool language. It's also sometimes it sounds a little bit funny. I think that some of their words are funny. And I think that it sounds really cool and interesting. The other thing is I want to learn German so that I can do all of my testing for my websites in German. Because German is one of the most verbose languages. It is very long. All of the words are long. And I know this because when I worked at Microsoft, I did a lot of web design stuff. And when you design a website, it's very important that you make sure that you account for different text sizes. Whoops, I'm not going to show that. I guess we're done with that. Where is... Oh, here it is. So, like... I'm trying to think of a good example. Tough language to learn from what I hear. This is a great example right here. This is my site, and I worked at Microsoft. Yeah, I worked at Microsoft from 2018 to 2023. And one thing that I noticed is, like, look how clean these two cards are. The Moonshire card and the Necrozone card. They're both very clean. But if the language changed, where this text here was changed to German, this would no longer be identical. It would expand down because German is more verbose than English. And like Japanese, for example, I think is less verbose than English, so it would have fewer characters coming this way. What did I leave? Because I wanted to work on this. Because I just wanted, I was ready to do my own thing. And earlier in the stream, I talked about how it's not earning income. I have my own income revenue sources from like the YouTube channel and from my Udemy courses. And then I'm working on this game, and then like over time I'll monetize that, and maybe there'll be merch down the line. There can be DLC. I can sell the soundtrack. So that's the way that I'm going to be making money. And leaving Microsoft was a big step. It wasn't the financially wise choice at all. I wouldn't recommend people to do that, but I did it because I felt like I was ready to start working towards that, towards making my own revenue streams. And Danes are in their own world. I don't think they actually, they understand each other. That's funny. Talking about languages, will you consider localization in your game? Yes, definitely. Definitely we will. Translating it to different languages or something. What I plan to do for that. Because I would say, people ask me how often, or like how many people do I collaborate with? How many people do I work with? And I work with maybe 4 or 5 artists. I work with Wolf for testing and moderation. I work with, I don't know, a few other minor people, like to help with, I don't know, phrasing of things, some writing, but debugging, or sorry, not debugging, translation is something that I will need help with. I can translate the game to Russian. So this is what I'm saying, is I will need help with translation, and I get a lot of people offering to help with translation, but here's something that I'm thinking about, something that I'm cautious of, is just because someone speaks a language doesn't mean that they are capable and good at accurately translating English into that other language. It requires a very, very strong, solid understanding, a lot of experience, and a lot of skill with writing and language to understand how to properly translate things. Because if my goal was just to translate the words, I can just like put all these words into Google Translate and it'll be mostly accurate. But we all know that it won't be fully accurate. A human translator can do a more personal job. It can handle some of the idioms. A human translator knows some of the subtleties of a language that just one-to-one translation can't figure out. Here's a big wrench in the gears, though, is AI is changing that. I don't want to admit it. I don't like to admit it, but AI is very good at translating. It's great. And that does make it challenging to justify spending a lot of money on expensive, experienced, talented translators. Because if you want to hire someone who is experienced and talented at translating between multiple languages, that costs a lot of money. And when you compare the cost of that to the cost of using an AI, the AI is free. So what I'm thinking, I can work for free. Well, this is the problem, is if you're working for free, that makes me wonder what the quality is going to be. And I want the highest quality possible. And I think that we're in a really awkward crossroads because I want to support human translators, but I also want the highest quality for the most like cost effectiveness. I don't have unlimited money. I can't just like pay a bunch of people money for things that I can get for free. I need to be pragmatic here. What I think I'm going to do is I'm probably going to do an initial draft translation using AI, and then I'm going to hire human editors, translation editors, people that are knowledgeable about whatever language we're working with, and they can read through the script along with the English one and validate it. Validate that the AI didn't misunderstand something, that the AI didn't miss some detail, that it didn't misunderstand some quirk of the languages, that it used everything correctly. Because AIs make mistakes, but here's the huge consideration. Humans make mistakes too. Just because I pay a human money to translate my game, well, that doesn't guarantee it's going to be flawless. In fact, I think it's more likely to be flawed if I have a human do it. That's why having both, I think, is kind of, that's the sweet spot. Is an AI translator will be able to do a really, really solid job doing the first draft, and then from there, a human would be able to really, like, all the mundane, annoying tasks are done. Because a lot of sentences can be translated one-to-one without any difficulty. Like, if a character said, go to that house, I think it's pretty easy to translate that to any language. But if the character said, well, golly my old ball and chain over there told me I gotta get my booty up in gear over here. Like, there's a lot of idioms. I use a lot of idioms in that sentence, where if you translated that sentence one-to-one to, like, French, I don't think French people know what ball and chain means, and I don't think they know what booty into gear means. But English people, I don't think English people know what that means either. But in that case, I think you know what I'm getting at. Is that there's some weirdness, there's some quirks that every language has that whoever's translating it, be it a human or an AI, they have to be aware of that. If someone says, the old ball and chain over there said this to me, it's important that the translator knows that I'm not talking about a literal ball and chain. It's like a phrase. It's a little language trick. I'm worried about my own translation pipeline as well, and I'm not even close to that point. I can already imagine the UI headaches as well as just figuring out how to do it properly without breaking the bank. Yeah, and I'm with you. So the first advice for translation, and it's advice for myself too. I'm not translating anything until the script is reasonably finalized. I am changing the text, the script, the buttons, the UI constantly. It is always changing. So I cannot pay someone to translate my game when the text is still changing. That would be a huge waste of money. during those intermediate phases, it definitely makes sense to use some auto-translate thing in the meantime. And then when it comes time to ship, or like a big milestone, like a major demo or something like that, that makes sense to have it like touched up and finalized. That's a very good approach, actually. Thank you. I think that we're in awkward times, though, because AI is still an emerging technology, and honestly, I don't know how good it is. I think it's good at translation, but I only speak English. I took 4 years of Spanish, but I don't speak Spanish anymore. I used to kind of be able to read it. Now I think I would have a hard time reading Spanish, too. I can try to translate jokes. That's hard. In terms of translation, is your dialogue done through external files? I can show that. Because I think I have it set up in this version. Locales, yes, I do. So this is how I have it set up. In the game, whenever you see written text, I'll try and find an example. Like here in this pause menu, I have the word progress. Or exit to menu. Let's see if I can find exit to menu. I probably hard-coded this one. Yeah, I did this one wrong. Let's find a better example. Excuse me. Oh, all the items. This is a great example. In the menu, in this pause menu, I can click on like this. The buoyant breeches. Trousers made out of durable fabric. Okay, so it says the title of the item, and it gives a description. It's a horrible description. It doesn't actually say what it does, but that's what it does. And this text comes from here. It comes from this JSON file. I didn't actually go into my Lua code and type in the string specifically. What happens is actually in the UI, it checks to see, before displaying this string, buoyant breeches, it's going to see what language is the player running in. If the player is running in English, it goes over into locales EN. It goes to EN, items, and then it gets the string from here. But if the player is playing in French, for example, that's the only other one I have, it would go into the French file, which I don't have here. Let's do a different example. Okay, so this is actually a file that Wolf made, I think, but because Wolf speaks French. So home, if you see the word home, it would go to the English file, grab the JSON file, and it would get home, and that's where the string comes from. And then if we were in French, it would instead go to the French folder, the French JSON, and then get this string. Sorry. Oh, you didn't make that one. My bad. And maybe this one was auto-translated. But that's how every string in the game is supposed to work. Now, I just showed a second ago how I didn't do that right for this one. This one, all of these, I have the text set up as hard strings. So this is how a lot of games are set up, where the strings are just like defined in the code itself. This is a Lua file, and then the string is manually assigned. Instead, what I'll end up doing later is like LCL:get, like that. Something like this. I don't remember what the exact phrase is, but it's a function that gets this tag, and then it goes into those files to grab the correct one. Yeah, so this file is hard-coded, but then something like the UI for the items is not hard-coded. So I can't translate? No, I'm sorry. I'm not interested in having someone translate for me. I'm also not anywhere close to needing translations. Like I was saying, I'm going to be doing auto-translations for like the intermediate phases while the game's in progress. And then I'm going to have a professional, like a paid like person who's really, really skilled with translation, go through and make sure that everything is set up correctly. I'm afraid I'm not interested in just having regular people translate my game, because that can lead into some problematic things. And I'm going to fact check this right now, but I remember a situation. where Silksong, when Silksong came out, there was a situation where the Chinese translation was really bad. I remember there was drama regarding the Chinese translation. What happened? Let's see what happened. Because I actually don't remember. I never looked into this. When Hollow Knight Silksong launched in September 25, it was hit with a massive wave of negative reviews on Steam from Chinese-speaking players. While the global reception was overwhelmingly positive, the simplified Chinese user score plummeted to around 50% due to what fans and localization experts described as a disastrous translation. The controversy boiled down to three main issues. The dead poet writing style. Instead of maintaining the original game's atmospheric, melancholic, yet direct prose, the translation team opted for an incredibly dense, pseudo-archaic style of classical Chinese. Localization experts and players compared it to a high school drama club's Elizabethan improv night. Okay, so it's just like cringy, verbose writing. Whoever localized it made poor choices, like poor personal choices. Hallucinated lore and mechanical errors. Beyond the purple prose, the translators took massive creative liberties that bordered on rewriting the game. Lore omissions. Crucial world-building terms were inexplicably... I'm having trouble reading, I'm sorry. Inexplicably altered. For instance, removing references to pale, a major lore element from the first game. It is. You can't change that word. And just translating it to basic white. Yeah, you can't change the word pale. That's really important. Fabricated content. Players noted that the monster compendium and item descriptions were filled with completely fabricated descriptions that didn't exist in the English source. So I'm reading this, and that makes me very worried, doesn't it? How could they have predicted that this would happen? How would Team Cherry go back and do this differently? They wanted to hire human translators to translate their game, and those human translators took a bunch of liberties that they shouldn't have. They screwed it up. You can use Google Translator to see if someone made bad translation. No, you can't. You can't do that. My example from earlier still applies. I said, look, the old ball and chain over there told me this earlier. And if you translate that using Google Translate to a different language, it's not going to make sense. And the same applies to if you translate another language using Google Translate one-to-one back to English, it might not make sense. You can't use Google Translate to verify if the translation is good or not. The only way you can verify is if someone speaks the language and they read it and they subjectively say, it's great. That's the scary part. Not jokes. See, Zelebcat, I think that you're kind of dancing around the problem. Is that there's too many cases that you can't account for. It's more than just jokes. I know that jokes is the example that I keep giving, but language is very complicated. Languages don't translate one-to-one with each other. It takes a very skilled set of experience to do it properly. You can't use Google Translate and it comes out perfectly, and you know what's it you can use AIs to help, and you can use Google Translate to do simple tasks, but translating one-to-one is not an easy task. I noticed that Google Translate for Japanese doesn't work well because of how contextual it is. I imagine that makes sense. It's all very contextual. The aftermath. The backlash was so severe that Team Cherry publishing lead Matthew Griffin, I'm so sorry I can't read, quickly issued a public apology on social media, thanking the Chinese community for the feedback and promising that they would completely rework and improve the translation over the following weeks. What a nightmare. I remember when this happened, it scared me. And it still scares me. So, I hear this story, and it dissuades me from hiring only human translators. I think a human translator has too much potential of causing a problem like this. Especially if we're talking about 20 different languages, 20 different editors, any one of them could go off the deep end, or just make a mistake. They tried too hard. In this case, it seems like they tried too hard. They tried too hard to make it sound amazing, and it kind of lost the plot as a result. And a good translator wouldn't let that happen, but how do you know if you're hiring a good translator? Also, translators cost money. Good translators cost lots of money. How much money per hour? How much per hour does it cost? How much do you think it cost Silksong to translate its script for one single language? Estimated word count. I mean, it is a very large game. It is 70k words. That's a lot. 10 cents per word. Oh no, 1 cent. No, yeah, 10 cents per word. That's not very much. That's actually not very much money. Yeah, that's about what I would have expected. That's a lot of money. It is a lot of money, but this is what you need to remember, is paying someone for their time is expensive. Minimum wage where I live is $15 per hour. So that's for someone with no experience. Minimum wage, that's like someone working at like a fast food restaurant or at Walmart or something, something that anyone can do. And something like translation is skilled labor. This is work that is done by someone with lots of training, lots of experience, and they charge a lot more than minimum wage. And they should. They deserve more, assuming that there's a market for it. So, per hour. So can I check AI work? I don't know what you mean by that. Translators usually aren't paid by the hour, it's usually word count. That makes sense. I pay all of my commissioners by the hour, but you're right that word count makes more sense because of the nature of this type of work. You shouldn't worry about translating to easier languages like Chinese, Arabic, Japanese are very hard, the hardest to learn. I wouldn't try to do it. I had to read 3 different translations of Three Musketeers before finding one that wasn't awkward or clunky. Really? That's interesting. That's cool to hear. And that's cool to hear that you were able to read different translations like that. That sounds challenging, and it's cool that you have so much exposure to different languages. The AI translate. Zlebkat, I don't really think I want to talk about AI and translation anymore because I think I made it pretty clear. I've never done it. I've never translated a game before. I don't know anything about it. All I do know is that there are stories of human translators screwing up. And also, human translators cost money, like $8,000. I can spend $8,000, but that eats into the budget of the game. I can do that if I want to, but that's expensive. I think that the bottom line here is that AI translation is a mostly free option, but there's probably some shortcomings, some pitfalls of using just AI, which is why I think it's important to also hire human or human translators. I think that hiring both is going to be the best of both worlds. The AI can handle all the mundane translations. For example, if we're talking 80,000 words, I wonder how many of those words were very obvious one-to-one translations. I don't think it was 0%. I don't think it was 100%, but some number of those words could have been handled perfectly fine by an AI. What percentage of that is it? Maybe it's 10,000 words. Maybe it's 5,000. Maybe it's 50,000. Maybe in the dystopian future, it will be the full 80,000 words, and humans can never compete. Maybe that's what will happen. But we're not there. I think that I want the best of both worlds, where we have the consistency of AI and the human context, the human intelligence and emotion that humans have. These computers have absolutely no context on anything other than what they're asked about. They are given all the context in the one prompt, basically. And humans have a whole lifetime of context that they draw from. What's your opinion on AI? Is that it has pros and cons, but it's very useful. Why he sounds rage baited? I'm just kind of playing it up. I'm playing it up because I think that these issues are not as simple as it seems. I don't know if AI consistency is what you want to aim for, at least at the moment. What I'm saying is that AI is more consistent than a human is, because an AI is an algorithm and a human is an emotional, intellectual being that is capable of making mistakes, but it's also capable of coming up with creative ideas that computers can't, because computers are iterative and derivative. You give it context on something and it gives you a response based on that context. And humans do that too, but the context pool is their entire life. It's more than just that. And when we're talking about translation, like when you speak a language your whole life, that's a lot of context that you're building up. That context might end up being more valuable than the context of translation that a computer has. Maybe not, I don't actually know. So how will you find translators? Probably through like a translation company. Kevin, what I'm saying, I don't want to hire an amateur. If I'm gonna have a trained professional translate my game, I am going to hire someone who does it professionally, who has like a translation studio. I'll go ahead and show this. I was reached out to by this company over the weekend, Wabbit Translations. I got a message from them on through email. They sent me an email. So one of their people reached out to me, Wabbit Translations, and if I were to hire a translator, it would probably be something like this. This is a company that knows all of the ins and outs of how translation works. The people that do this have bachelor's degrees in linguistic mediation and master's in screen translation. That's pretty knowledgeable. Master's in screen translation. I don't even know what that means, but that sounds pretty cool. These are people whose whole life is writing and language. And for my game, I care deeply about my game. I want the best people working on it, and especially if I'm spending money on it, we're talking $10,000, $8,000. I want people who know what they're doing to handle that task. And I respect people who are very kind and saying, I'm totally willing to do it for free. Like, I'm willing to translate your game to Spanish for free. And that's super kind of you. I'm sure you would do a fine job, but I don't think you have the experience and the know-how that people like this have. All of these people, they do this for a living. And like, look at the games that they've worked on. They worked on Avowed and Expedition 33, Monster Hunter Wilds, Hi-Fi Rush. These are such good games. Atomic Heart, I know that game. Goat Simulator. High on Life, that's the Adult Swim one. Or I guess it's not Adult Swim, but you know what I mean. No Man's Sky. So these people know what they're doing. They have so much experience with translation. And people like these are less likely to make mistakes compared to if I hired an amateur. I don't like using that word. Amateur makes it sound mean. But that's what it means. It's just like someone who's not experienced with it. They have Russian, I don't know. But I would find a different company that does Russian, is what I'm saying, Zlepcat. It sounds like you're very desperate. This is my advice for you, Zlepcat. If you want to get into translation, just start doing it. Just start translating things. There are fan translations of games. There are books and articles and interviews. That's a big one. You know what's really popular right now is interviews. I watch this YouTube channel called Did You Know Gaming? It's a very good YouTube channel. What they've been doing recently is they've been going into Japanese interviews with Japanese game developers, like of the Mario games or the Zelda games, like really cool classic games that you would want to hear about. And they're translating all these Japanese interviews from Japanese into English. And from those interviews, from that English translation, they are learning new cool factoids that they can put in their videos. And that's amazing. There is so much content out there that you can translate to get experience on translation. I don't think I do it for how many years? Your whole life until you are an expert, Zlepcat. It sounds like you're looking for a shortcut. There is no shortcut. If you want to make games, you got to make games your whole life. If you want to be an artist, you got to do art your whole life. If you want to be a musician, you got to play music your whole life. If you, like Zlebcat, if you were coming in here saying, I really want to do music for your game, but I've never made music before, why would I hire that? Why would I hire someone who's never made music before? I'm going to hire someone who's made lots and lots of music, maybe hundreds of tracks, and they've been doing it their whole life. They're an adult. Maybe they even have a company or a team of people working behind them. That's who I want to make music for my game. And when we're talking about translations, you did translate before. Well, send me your website and your portfolio and I'll take a look at it. But right now it sounds like you just are, you're just kind of begging. I don't want you to beg. I want you to pitch yourself. Like, what qualifications do you have? I'm trying not to be rude. I want to be supportive. I want you to get into translation. Zlebcat, I can see how passionate you are. I really want you to get into translation. Discord only, you're going to have a hard time selling yourself if all you have is Discord. You're going to have a hard time selling yourself. Look at this website that I'm looking at. This is a professional storefront. Like, if you want to get into serious games, experience matters when you're paying for something. My advice is to start translating things without getting paid. How many games have I made in my life without getting paid? I've made a lot of games in my life without getting paid. In fact, every single game in my life I did on my own, and I didn't sell. I just made it for my own devices, for my own creative passions. Zlebcat, if you are interested in translation and you want to be an expert translator, you need to start doing it. Zlebcat, I think you're missing my point. It's not... Do you understand what I'm saying, at least? Is that I want you to be a translator, but you can't just jump right into being a translator. The website is... Yeah, it's not about the website. My point is that you're putting no effort into being a translator. You're just saying, why isn't anyone hiring me to be a translator? You need to establish yourself as one. You need to establish yourself as a translator. That's why I'm telling you about the Did You Know Gaming interview translations. The people who work on that are translating all the time. Maybe because they're getting paid, but also maybe because they just want to learn about it. If you have an interest in translation, perhaps maybe there's some articles in English or Russian or whatever language you're talking about that hasn't been translated before. Something that people would be interested in, or maybe something that you would be interested in. What's something that you are interested in that isn't in Russian yet? And then just translate it. And then give it to the community. There are game fan translations. There are Japanese games out there that have never been translated to English. I wonder if there's any Russian games that have never been translated to English. And if so, maybe you can make a mod for it. Maybe you can reach out to the developer and do it for free. But like I said, they probably won't want you to do it for free because they want an established person. I like the interview translation thing. I want you to build up your identity as a translator. The people who you got a point. In my case, since I understand both Spanish and some English, I can personally translate my own games and learn during the process. Totally. How do you make the meteors go to a selected target? When the meteor spawns, it is picking a point. It is selecting a point at the bottom of the screen, and when the meteor has a point in mind, like this point down here is like point 100. It's like point 100. 800. So the X value is 100 and the Y value is 800. So it's trying to aim at this point down here in the corner, and it's just going to draw a line from that point and move itself in that direction. Is it Sunmeyer Sunday? Maybe a little bit. Could try to help in game jams as a translator, maybe. Maybe you guys can help me out here. I'm trying to help Zlebcat out here so that they have good actionable advice to work off of. I don't want to dissuade you. I want you to be a translator, and I think that you can. I don't think that it's going to be easy jumping into someone else's project. I think that you should find stuff to translate and establish yourself and gain that experience. Or here's the other thing, Zlebcat. Let me ask a different question. Is your goal to become an amazing translator? Are you like passionate about translating? That's your passion in life is translation, or are you just looking for some way to get into video games? Are you just looking for some way to be involved with game development? And so you think, okay, translation. I speak 2 languages. I could be a translator. And so that's your motivation? Because if that's the case, my advice would be to reframe it. No, you can translate. So, okay, so your goal is to be a translator. Zelebcat, my advice for you, don't translate games. Start with something other than games. Because if you narrow your focus to games, there's not enough games to translate. There's lots of other things to translate. There are so many news articles and social media posts and interviews and videos that could use translating. Well, then keep it up. Translate young adult books, vivid language, low barrier of entry. That makes sense. If you go to romhacking.net, you can find all the games that have translations or need them. Nice, that's cool. When this was probably in 2011, I played Mother 3. Mother 3 is a game that never released in the US. It never released in any language other than Japanese, as far as I know. But there exists a fan translation. Nobody asked them to do it. Nobody told them, hey, we're paying you, we're hiring you to make this translation of this game. They just made it. They said, I am a good translator and I can translate this game and other people will like it, so that's what I'm going to do. They just did it. Nobody paid them to do it. And you know what? I would hire one of those translators for my game. If one of those translators came to me and said, I was one of the people that translated Mother 3, the fan ROM hack, I would say, that's the coolest thing ever. I'll totally hire you. Not because they didn't get paid. They did it for free. This is an unreleased game. And Mother 3 is just one game. There's a lot of them. And there's a lot of things beyond games. There's more than just games out there. People, especially players, could help you a little, but my advice would be to focus on the game first and consider localization later. I agree with that. That is what I'm doing. I'm waiting until the game is the script is in a finalized state. You done it before? Cool. And keep it up. I have been making games for my whole life. Comment 2014, like before 2014. I've been making games my whole life. And I have never successfully sold a game for money. I have never been able to sell a game for money. Not once. Being able to build your skill set up to the point where you can sell it for money is very hard. It takes a lifetime. So if your goal is to do something specific like translation or art or music, you have to do it your whole life. And when I see this website, Wabbit Translations, this is a group of people that have been doing it their whole life. Like they care about it a lot. And when people care about what they're doing, they do a good quality job. And that's the best way to sell yourself, is by being good and passionate. That's the way to do it. I wanted to say I've been following your channel for a while, but I finally checked out your demo for Moonshire and it plays great. Thank you. Appreciate that. There's been a lot of updates since then. I'm excited for you to try the new version. I know how much goes into translation, did both fan subs and a few paid jobs too in the past. Awesome, that's cool to hear about. Felt more comfortable doing fan subs. Paid stuff was too much pressure. Definitely not something you want to get into early on. That makes sense. There probably is a lot of pressure with that. That's awesome to hear that you were involved with some fan translations or some like simple unpaid stuff, because that is the core behind it. All of my video game development experience comes from unpaid work. All of my music experience comes from unpaid work. So I imagine a lot of translators' experience comes from unpaid work as well. That being said, a skilled, talented translator should be paid, and they do. This company gets paid because they deserve it. They do a good job with it. They have to, otherwise they wouldn't be able to land big name games like Expedition 33 or Avowed or Monster Hunter. That's amazing. Good for them. Any tips for starting solo game dev? I'm building a 2D top-down RPG. I'm comfortable with gameplay design, but art and VFX are my main weaknesses right now. I feel ya. To hear that it's art and VFX, that's actually a good problem to have, because art is just a matter of like doing it all the time. Back-to-back credits scene. Yeah, it's giving us a sign. It's just a matter of doing it all the time and getting a feel for what works and what doesn't. I relate to you, though, because I'm a programmer at heart. I'm a computer scientist, and I never really considered myself an artist for the longest time. I would get a lot of assets off of itch.io, which I haven't done that for a while. If you go to itch.io, itch.io assets, I'll say pixel art assets. I've purchased a lot of starter packs, tile sets, like characters and items, things to get me started. And this was, and it's funny, these days I don't really use asset packs nearly as much as I used to. I used to use asset packs for everything. I would use some sprite as a starting point, and then I would build off of that. But today, I don't really do that as much. I still use asset packs, but today, I've been doing so much pixel art. I've made so many edits to so many different asset packs that it's improved my skill. And I feel like I've picked up on so many tips and tricks along the way just from working on stuff like that. There's no tips, like things that I could tell you that will make you a better pixel artist. The only thing that does make you a better pixel artist is doing it all the time. And having starting points, I think, is helpful. Will you consider adding your bird love to D game to your website? I should! I totally should, because that demo works kind of nicely. Is that still on here? Can I run this? I don't recommend, guys, I don't ever recommend running games that are like zip files like that, but since it's my game, I think it's okay. Okay, so here's the bird game. I don't think I've ever shown the bird game on stream, which is weird. So yeah, birdgame.exe. I'm gonna run anyway. Don't do that, by the way. Only do that if you know what it is. Oh no, it's opened on the wrong monitor. Oh no. It's on the wrong monitor. I can't move it. I can't. I'm sorry. It opened on the wrong monitor. I can't change that. Oh, can I change that somehow? Ooh, I don't know. Maybe I can change it if I use Visual Studio Code. Let's try. Give me a second. Bird game. I don't have the bird game on here. Oh, wait, do I? Love. No, I don't. I don't have the bird game on this computer. I have to go onto GitHub to get it. Okay, one more second. I have to go into GitHub. Is this on GitHub? It might not be. Bird. I think the bird game's missing. I think the bird game is missing. So we're gonna try to extract all this. Purchase the WinRAR license. So we're gonna extract all this, and I'm gonna back it up on GitHub. Whoops, not what I wanted to do. It's been a while since I used WinRAR. What? Let me... Okay, That should have done it. Now let's go over to my projects. Bird game. There it is. There's my bird game. I knew it was here. Oh, what I did, by the way, just now is whenever you have a Love 2D game, we talked about this earlier in the stream too. You have the EXE. An EXE is just a fused app. It has the .love file fused with the EXE. So what I just did is I opened up the EXE into WinRAR, and it just shows you everything inside of the .love file. And that is going to change. That is going to change for Moonshire's release because I don't want people to do that. Let's go over into projects, bird game. Oh, wait, yeah. Need to open folder. I keep getting sidetracked. Open folder. Under projects, bird game. I haven't looked at this for a long time. Let's see what happens. It's going to open on the wrong monitor again. Oh, it actually broke. It's not compatible with 11.5. Oh, no. Actually, I think that there's a full screen being set somewhere. Full screen. Screen. Here it is. Okay. The game is crashing. And also, let's I need to add the console so we can see the output. I need to add this t.console equals true to this. Let's try that again because the game is crashing. It says could not decode PNG image, invalid CRC. What does that even mean? Resources 26. Let's see what that is. Box break. It's saying that this doesn't exist. This is... Oh my gosh. Particles. It's right there. Boxbreak.png. I don't understand. That's pretty confusing. Let's see. Could not decode PNG image. CRC is checksum, file is corrupted. Oh, that would make sense. What can I do about that? Why is it just this one, though? It looks fine to me. Yeah, and why are all these other ones okay? That's kind of strange. Let's see, what can I do about that? Because it's probably... Resave? Oh, yeah, mate, well... I guess, yeah, let's try that. That's a good idea. I can give that a shot. Actually, that's a great idea. Let's take the sprites. Let's take that one that I was complaining about. Oh yeah, it's just broken. Yeah, it doesn't even open in a sprite. Oh, it did open. Here, let's like edit it and then save it like you said. That was a good suggestion. I think that it's gonna fix it. It did. It changed to a different one. It changed to this one. Enemy death. Okay, now it's something different. Oh no, it's still the same. PNG image. One of the tile sets must be like that too. How many tile sets are there? Oh, there's only a few. It won't take long. That one's fine. That one's fine. That one's fine. Okay. Oh, it worked! It worked, it worked. It's on the wrong monitor again, though. It's enormous, too. We're gonna change this to... Still enormous, jeez. Let's make it, I don't know, 1400 by 900. That's better. Man, that took a lot of work. But we're here. We finally got it. Thank you for the suggestion about resaving. That definitely worked. Okay. Burb game! Look at what you said. Burb game! But it changed it. It says, it gave you the symbol again. That's so weird. I don't know why. Okay. Use the arrow keys or WSD to move. Start with the tutorial. Okay. Let's do it. Oh, it's running horribly. What do I do about that? It's running really bad. It's like barely playable. It's super bad. Why is it doing that? Maybe it's because it's running through VS Code. I can try running it through the app directly. What the heck? It, like, you know what it is? It has no problems when it's on... No way! I've never seen this happen before. So you guys can hear it, right? It's running on my other monitor. It's running perfectly. But when I move it over here, suddenly it breaks. It's not working. It's like so choppy. I have another idea for this actually. Because there is a monitor choice config that I have now. Display. I'm trying to find where this gets set. Oh, here it is. Oh wait, that's the wrong game, obviously. So Windows set mode, there's a parameter for display. Set window size, what does that do? That's something I wrote. Here it is. Flags. This is just nil. Display equals 2. Please work! Yes, it worked! It's still running slowly though. Yeah, it's not working. Okay, I have a new hypothesis for that. Is that on this monitor, it's a 4K monitor. So maybe for some reason it's just like taking forever to render. I don't know why. That's weird. Oh, it's not even playable. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. It's like, do you see it chopping like this? I've never seen anything like it. This is horrible. Aw, this game's fun. Okay, here's my promise for you guys. Over the next week, I'm going to fix this bird game, and I'm gonna get it up on either itch or on my website. and then we can play it next week. And it will not be choppy. I don't know what the deal with that is. That's really obnoxious. The bird refuses to be streamed. Basically, yeah. Did they create any sick characters in the beginning of the stream? Not really. We were in the beginning of the stream. What we were working on is this. So I was going through every different iteration of characters that I have in the game, and there's actually more of them. There's these two too. And the whole idea was I wanted to put them side by side to kind of start figuring out what style do I want to go with. Because these chibi small ones up here, I do like these. But I do also like how, like, I like having all the NPCs being bigger than the main character. I think that's pretty funny. So I might keep it that way. I'm not sure. I'm on the fence. The other thing I want to show, before the end of stream, I want to show one final thing. Because Tris Pixels worked on some additional characters that I want to show off. He worked on this farmer. And he worked on this adventurer. So these are like another style. How do you plan to fix the problem that opening the executable with WinRAR shows the game's code? I'm going to build the game. Like, I'm going to... The reason you can open it up like that is because the executable is fused. You're just taking the love file and sticking it to the exe. What you need to do is build the exe from the ground up with your love file, like, as part of the build structure. And you can do that. Notice how, like, when you run Love2D empty, it does this. This is what happens when you run Love2D with no game running. So, what you can do is, since Love2D is open source, you can make it so that when the game runs with no game attached, it runs your game. You can make it so that the Love build, the Love executable itself, is your game. The whole game is just one thing. Rather than a fused entity, it's built with your game's files as part of, like, the build pipeline. That's what I think I'm going to be doing. And I don't know for sure what that entails, but I'll update you. Rotates makes generic fan noises. That'd be funny. I'll have to uglify those down. These ones are definitely more detailed. They have a lot of detail. And actually, I have the other farmer. Let me find the other farmer. I love this song. This is a good one. This is from chapter 4. Man, sorry that took me a second. Here's our farmer. I love this guy. Ellie drew him. I like them both. I don't know which one I like more. I like them both. But yeah, like that person said, these ones are more detailed than the rest of the game. The game uses a flatter sense of, like, shading, like these guys up here, and this one has a lot of, like, the dithering. I think that's the right term, where you have alternating pixel colors. Like up here, her face is like a bunch of different pixel colors. It looks like the same character, but one is looking at the bird in the sky a little bit. Yeah, this one does look like he's looking up. This one looks like he's looking too far down, and this one looks like he's looking too far up. Because, like, when the player goes to talk to this guy, I'm gonna be standing here, and it looks like he's looking up, like, up here. I guess I could, like, move his face down while talking to the player. That looks so funny. That's totally what it should be. He's, like, looking down at you like, huh? What's this little thing? The NPCs being so much more detailed than the player is pretty funny. I think it is funny. It makes me laugh, like, when I see how much bigger and just I don't know. It reminds me of Kirby, or it reminds me of Hollow Knight. I think that Hollow Knight is a really good example of that, where Hollow Knight, all the NPCs are bigger than you, and you like look up at them, and you're just like this little thing. Something about that's just funny. Yeah, I agree. Okay, I think that I'm at a good point where I'm going to call it a good day. I'm ready to quit the stream, and I will be back next week for Moonshire Monday. Thank you so much for everyone that was here in chat on Twitch and on YouTube. There was Corix and Baron. What is the lore accurate height of the main character? I don't actually know. You know, if these humans are, if like this is a 6-foot man, I guess I would make Lua like 4'1" or something like that, like 4 foot, maybe 3 feet. It's pretty short. I'll be next week for more streaming. I will have more to show next week. This past week, I spent a lot of time streaming games and working on music, but I have a lot more planned for the level editor. I'm working on my next devlog. I don't know when that's going to be out, either this week or the next week, but I'll keep you guys updated on that. And all the folks that were in chat today, Wolf, Baron, Future, Akalout, Zlib, Okaint, Rescue Squad, Penguin, and the people on Twitch, of course, Baron, Ramuz, Corix. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate all the folks that are here for the gaming streams and for the regular Moonshire Monday streams. I will see you all next week for another Moonshire Monday. But be on the lookout on Twitch. I might be streaming a little bit more games this week. It just depends on what I'm into and what I find. All right. I'll see you all next week. Bye.